Mediation is a structured negotiation process. An independent person, known as a mediator, assists the parties to identify and assess options and negotiate an agreement to resolve their dispute. This video evaluates the role of lawyers in mediation in a global setting and how they are required to understand cultures and be effective interpreters to yield the best results for parties. Culture affects mediation. Our culture, upbringing, beliefs, they all influence and engage with the world around us. People from different cultures have different cues and social norms, and these are brought into the mediation setting. Different cultures can, due to their upbringing, have different preferences on food, music, act in different ways, have different values, and this all extends to mediating. Culture provides a unique perspective where two persons can disagree without one being right and the other being wrong, when their arguments are based on culturally different assumptions. Here's a quick video explanation from Joanna Karlowski.
Actual terms, wherever there is a conflict, there will be differences in perceptions of the reality gave rise to that conflict, which it's very hard to understand if all you're doing is fact-finding.
The role of mediators has rapidly changed in the last 2 decades. With the growth of air travel and technology, mediation is not the same as it was 20 years ago, nor are the skills required of lawyers in these settings. One could argue that cultural competence as a whole cannot be taught, but rather the skills required to be culturally competent. As Joanna Karlowski explained, you don't somehow stop being Greek and start being Australian. You add behaviours appropriate to an ever-increasing range of situations to your repertoire, and you do so both consciously and unconsciously. In addition to strategic competence, lawyers must now also be culturally competent and act in a culturally sensitive and effective manner beyond their own culture. Lawyers need to be aware of culturally specific norms, styles. Without cultural competence, mediators, the ability to analyze, adapt, and be flexible with different cultures during mediation, the role of the mediator also becomes useless. Although everybody in the same room could be talking the same language, behavior, tone, and words can be interpreted differently by each person. The role of the lawyer in a cross-cultural examination can almost be seen as an interpreter. It is their role to understand what one party is saying and ensure that the message is received correctly and understood in the correct light by the other party. In being the cultural interpreter, mediators need to value diversity and respect the inherent dignity of all cultural groups. Lawyers may need to understand and convey why and how individuals' values and views could influence participation and engagement in a mediation. For example, in the Aboriginal culture, it can be regarded as a sign of respect to not make eye contact, whereas other cultures may find this rude, and without the proper interpretation of the actions, the whole negotiation can be put on the back foot within the first minute. In conclusion, a lawyer's role in mediation is to be the cultural interpreter.